everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to put together this little Valentine's Day centerpiece. It is a floral arrangement in a little burlap sack. So let's get to see what the supplies are going to be. Okay, so to create our sacks, we're going to need some fabric. You can choose any fabric that you like. I chose burlap, and you need at least a 1/4 yard of fabric to create the little sacks. I am also going to be using a little scrap of stiff felt. You can use a little scrap of poster board or maybe a little cardboard paper that you might have left over from something, or cut it out from a box. We're going to be using some styrofoam, some ribbon, whatever you feel coordinates with your flowers. Speaking of flowers, I have some flowers here that are left over from another arrangement. Some of them are being recycled. I'm also going to pull out some greenery that I have set aside in a drawer. So I'm going to pull some of that out for my arrangement. Now, for my sack, I'm going to decorate it, and you can decorate it with whatever you want. You can use other scraps of fabric to cut out little designs, or just some little ribbon or some laces to decorate your sack. You don't have to decorate it at all. This is going to be completely up to you. But I did find this little pretty sign at the Dollar Tree. It's really cute. It's made of felt, and it's got some burlap on here. It's really cute on its own, just like that. But it occurred to me that I wanted to use the heart, and I wanted to use this wording down here that says love. See, it says love, kiss, and then up here it says hug. So it depends on who I want to give it to. I can cut these out as well. But I'm going to pull off this particular heart. It's very easy to pull off. And then I'm going to cut around the wording love. So I'm going to use that to decorate. So just keep in mind, you can use whatever you want to use on your bag. Okay, to put the bag together, I'm actually going to sew it, and I'm going to be using my sewing machine. So obviously I need that, and I need some thread for my sewing machine. If you want to choose to sew it by hand, then you need a needle and thread, obviously. We're also going to be using some glue gun to put these little decorative items on my sack. You could sew them on, or you could just use some white glue or some fabric glue if you prefer to use that. Now, you could also glue your bag together without using the sewing machine, so therefore you are going to need a glue gun for sure, and some glue sticks. I will show you both ways. Okay, so we also need something to measure with, ruler or measuring tape, and I also have my grid here. You can use whichever. You can use a rotary cutter if you want on your grid or your cutting mat. I also have some scissors, and then I'm going to use this pen to do some marking. You don't need a pen. You could use a pencil or a quilting pencil, or you could just use a straight pen to do some markings. And I'll show you that, why we're going to do that. So let's just get to crafting. Okay, so here I have a sample of the sack that I want to create. I make this first so that I would know exactly what I wanted to show you, how to create it or how to put it together. So this particular one, I used a measurement of 8 by 8 inches when I cut out the squares, but I did cut them on a fold, so I didn't have to have a seam at the bottom. So I'll just show you how I did that. But I'm going to make them a little bit bigger the second time because I have a little bit of a different idea, and also because I want this heart to fit the spacing of my bag. I need to make it a little bit bigger, but this 8 by 8 is great if you want to decorate it differently and not use this here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to take off this little heart from here. I was peeling it off already, and it comes off really well, so I want to get that, and I want to get this little, actually this is really cute. Maybe I'll just trim the raffia. We could take that off if we wanted, but we could keep it on there as well. It's up to you. Now, when you have some fabric that you want to cut out a heart from, you can obviously cut it to fit this size or the other size that I'm going to do. And then you could just decorate it however you want. Okay, so now I'm also going to cut out, let me see if I can peel this off. Yeah, I can. I can peel it off. And I'm going to cut right here. And I can put this away to use it for something else. It's got some cute little buttons on it, so I might use those. So I'm just going to cut along at the bottom. Get that. Because I want to use that. And I want to put it across here, actually. So what I will want to do now is I just want to hot glue that down. So I'll go ahead and do that now so I can have that ready. because I actually want to attach it before I sew my bag all together. It's going to be a lot easier than trying to attach after I build it and putting it on there. It's better if this is completely flat. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so remember this one, it was a 8x8. We're going to do a 10x10. And like I said, I used the fold for the bottom of the bag so that I don't have to sew that part up. Okay, and I have my little notes here that I made myself when I was designing my little bag. Okay, so I'll put my pen over to the side. And we're going to measure 10x10 and then cut that piece out. Okay, so forgive me. I keep saying I'm sick, but I feel like I'm not. I don't have a flu. Like I don't have like fever and vomiting and all that. Okay. Okay, so let's measure out 10x10, and it's like I said, the bottom of the bag will be where the fold is. Now, if you didn't have a fold and you just happen to have some scrap fabric, and you got to get like two pieces together because they've been cut out from something else, then all you got to do is just sew at the bottom. No big deal. But this one, we can go ahead and cut it from the fold. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll do the other one with a sewing at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to measure at 10, and I was going to use my rotary cutter to cut this, but I realized my blade is not sharp enough. So I'm going to mark this right here. And then I'm going to make sure that because I can't see the lines over here. 10 inches. 10 inches. And then I could just draw a line like from each point to the other. Like that. And then just use my scissors. Now I said I wanted it to be 10 inches. 10 inches is right here. I'm using the side here to keep this straight. Okay, so I'm going to measure up 10 inches. And 10 inches, and then just meet up those lines. So just measure it however is easiest for you. Okay, now that I've got my square, my 10x10 square, it's actually a rectangle because it's folded, but if I look at it this way, it is a square. So it would actually be a 10x20 rectangle. Okay, let's cut this. Okay, so there we go. That's what we have. This is going to be the bottom of the bag, so I don't have to sew that up. I only have to sew here on each side. So let me make another one, but the other one I want to make it a 10x12, and I said that, excuse me, my throat. I said that I wanted to make it a 10x12, and then I said, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and show you, just, you know, sew it from here. So it's okay to, if you don't have it on a fold, it's all right. Okay, so I'm just going to measure up here. Let me bring this down towards me. Forgive me that I'm sitting down. I should be standing to do this. Okay, so I'm going to measure up 12 inches. Oh, this is on my, this way. 12 inches right here. Might as well mark the side here. Okay, and then I'm going to measure 12 inches up this way. Here's 12 inches right here. And then I'm just going to meet up those two dots and go across. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so I've got my pieces cut out. I've got my 10x10, which is at the fold here, and then I've got a 10x12 over here. So I could do it either or. Both can be on the fold, or they can be just two separate pieces like that. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say with that. I'm just saving myself some stitching by doing it on the fold. Okay, so this one, I'm going to want to stitch down the bottom and each side. So two sides and the bottom. And I'm going to leave one of the sides open without sewing it, or I could hot glue it. And the other one, because it's on the fold, I only have to do sew down the sides or hot glue down the sides. So let's go ahead and do that, where this one we'll go ahead and hot glue it. Okay, so I have my hot glue gun ready, and I want to hot glue this, but before I put it all together, I do want to put my little love heart on it. So you also want to make sure that you have the right side of your fabric facing itself, the two right sides. So for example, this was on the folding. Usually fabric is like that when you buy it from the store, and you'll have the right sides up. So what you want to do is you want to open it up, and then you're going to put the right sides together. This is burlap. It doesn't really have a side, so it doesn't really matter. You would do the same with the other pieces. This was the right side and this was the right side. So then you'd open it up, flip it over, and then put this one down so that you would have the two right sides together. Like I said, this is burlap. I don't have to worry about it, or if it was felt, you wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay, so we're going to glue down the sides, but before I do that, I want to put my little heart decoration on here, and it's a lot easier if I just do it before I either glue it or sew it. And I'm going to want to put it as closer to the bottom. Well, not the closest to the bottom, because I'm going to be doing something here, but I want to leave at least an inch at the bottom is what I should have said, okay? So I want to leave at least an inch at the bottom, so and closer to that rather than the top, okay? And I'll show you why in just a minute, but we're going to glue that down first. I'll glue down one side. Now keep in mind that when you're using burlap, because it has like little holes, the glue can go through to the other side, so this is why it's always best to just do it on one layer than if it's together like that, because you might glue it to your fabric, and if you're not paying attention, you come back and then it's all glued and it's a mess. So make sure that you glue it on just one, without anything underneath it, something to protect your table, or something that, like a silicone pad or something. Something you don't mind getting glue on, I should say. Okay, so I'm just making sure it doesn't have to be perfectly all the way around the edge. Okay, so I hot glued this. You could obviously hand stitch it, or you could use some fabric glue to put this on here. Okay, so now I'm going to put these two together like that. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and pin just so it doesn't move around on me, because I am using the hot glue gun. Things can slide around. And the reason that it slides around is because you have to kind of like be opening things like that. So I'm just going to pin them kind of inside a little bit, not too close to the edge, so I can lift that. Now remember, we're not going to hot glue this top edge. We need an opening. So let's just run some glue from the little corner there all the way up. And we want to make sure that it all gets glued down before, and it dries up really well before we try flipping it over. And burlap is kind of tricky to hot glue down, actually. I did some Christmas stockings and it wasn't that easy, so I think it's best to just sew it. Okay, but I'm going to do it this way just so you can see how it can be done this way as well. Okay, because I like that little heart, I think I'm going to pull out the other one and put it on this other little sack. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to let this dry. We're going to go to the part where we actually sew this one, so then we can turn them around and I can show you the next step. Okay, so now we want to sew the two sides and the bottom. So I'm just going to go down and then across and then back up, and then just leave this part open, just like when I was hot gluing. So let's go ahead and start this. I said I was going to put a heart on this one, and I decided not to. I'm going to show you something different instead. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this on our sewing machine, and I'm doing a 1/4 inch seaming, and I do a little bit of a back stitch there to make sure that that doesn't open up on me. Okay, so we're getting close to the corner, so I'm going to leave the needle down, open this up, and then just twist it around. Okay, so we've come to the end, and now we can just cut this off, and then cut the thread that was at the very beginning. And now we want to make our little corners at the bottom of our sack, just like we did this one. And you're probably wondering, well, how did you do that with a glue gun? I'll show you. But first, let's do this one. So we're going to take it at the bottom. This is the bottom where I sewed it across right here. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to take each side and open it up like that so that I could do the bottom like this. Spread it out, okay? Once you have it spread out, and this is going down the center, and this is going down the center like that, squeeze this little corner, and this is where I'm going to be using my pens again, or I could just use a pen to mark, and of course I need my straight edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 2 inches on my straight edge here, and I want to measure 2 inches like that. Or wherever the 2-inch width is, that's where I want to hold my straight edge here. So here's where it starts and here's where it ends. So that's 2 inches across. I'm going to mark that with my pen. And if it's a lot easier for you, just pin this part down and pin this part down so it doesn't move around on you. So just make sure it's centered, and then just bring it over and sew right across there where you marked the 2 inches. And make sure you do a little back stitch at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so here we go. That little corner is done. So now I need to do the other corner. And here, this excess here, this little triangle now, you can cut it off or just leave it in there. It doesn't really matter. It's not like it's a pillowcase or anything you're wearing or professionally done purse or anything like that. So this doesn't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it just because. So just cut, and I'm leaving like a 1/4 inch from where I sewed it, okay? Here's my sewing line. I like about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Just leave that, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this other corner. Again, making sure I pull it out. And this got folded over this way, so I'm going to make sure that it gets folded over that way as well. And there we go. And just make sure my little corner here is centered. Pull it out. There we go. The 2-inch mark from here to here is where I'm measuring. See, if I bring it down anymore, it's now like 2 3/4. This is why we're saying 2 inches. So you find where this end and this end are 2 inches apart from each other. So that's where it is. And that's what gives us this little flat bottom here. That's 2-inch flat bottom, okay? Okay, that's done. Get my fingers out of the way. Okay, now, see that? Now we can turn it over. Let me move my sewing machine out of the way. So now we can turn it over. And poke out those little corners. And poke out these little corners here as well. And there we go. There's our bag, or our little sack right here. Isn't that cute? You could use this for anything, really. You can use the same idea for creating a tote if you wanted to. Now this one, I folded over the little edges like that, and then I pulled some of these little bits here so I can create like a little bit of a fringe right there. So you can do that if you wish. But if you don't like that, you could also just fold in, you know, like 1 inch inward and create like a hem. And you could sew that down or glue it down, or, you know, just fold it up really nice like that. Okay, but I'm gonna leave this one. This is the longer one, the 12-inch one. I'm gonna leave this one completely open like that, and of course this one I'm gonna leave it folded. Okay, so this is the one that I hot glued. This is the one with my little heart on it, and now I want to do these little corners, but how am I going to glue that down, trim it? It's going to be kind of weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over first. Because I thought about this, guys. Like, how do we get those cute little corners if we decide to hot glue it? If you're hand stitching it, it'll work the way this one did. This other one that we sewed and then turned it over. But we're going to turn these over. And see how these little corners are kind of already tucked in? Don't push them out. Just leave them in there. And if for some reason they did get pushed out, well then just push them back in. And then just kind of push them out. And just pull this, make sure that it's not, don't pull it too hard because remember you hot glued it, you don't want to pull it apart. And just measure about 2 inches. So you're going to use your fingers inside to push it out some more if it's too big. Because you just want 2 inches right here, the little opening right there. Okay, you just want those 2 inches. You just 1 inch this way, 1 inch that way. You can just eyeball it. That looks good. So I'm just going to press on it to kind of mark it. And then we're going to take our glue gun and put glue right inside of there. Like that. And then just press them together. Now remember when I did the other one and we sewed it from the inside and then I cut it off and I told you, you don't have to cut it off. Well, we don't have to worry about it because we hot glued it. So I'm just going to open it up like that and put my hand inside to make sure that, you know, this part here doesn't get glued with that glue. It doesn't get glued down like that. We don't want that. We want it to be up like that. Okay, so those little bits inside, we don't have to cut them or anything. Just leave them in there. Okay, so then just do the other corner the same as you did this one. And look how cute that looks decorated. Isn't that pretty? Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to get some laces or something to maybe possibly decorate this one or this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty obvious how to do that. Just run some glue, stick on a lace or a little ribbon or something on them, maybe a little bow, whatever you want to do. Okay, because we want to get to making these into a little floral arrangement. And this one I'm actually going to fold. And then I'm going to hot glue down on that edge so that I have a hem. Because I want the 3 of them to be different, just so that you can see how you can do this in several ways, and maybe you'll even come up with your own idea. Let me go ahead and trim that off. Okay, so I'm just going to hot glue down the edge. Press it down with your fingers because it's burlap and it's so super easy to do that with it. Otherwise, grab your iron and do that. I'm just going to put glue on the edge. Push it in. Sorry, that you should have been able to see that. Okay, let me bring this one around like this. So I'm lifting this up like that and putting glue on the edge here and just carefully bringing it in and pushing it down. And then you want to do the same, you know, like that all the way around the bag. Okay, so there it is. It's all glued down. And that's all I need to worry about. So now we're going to put some styrofoam in our little bags. Okay, we'll be back. Alright, so now that we've got our little sack put together, I'm going to go ahead and put some styrofoam in there. But I want to take this stiffy felt and make a little rectangle that'll fit at the bottom of our bag, but on the inside. So we just need to look at the size of this. And we already know it's about 2 inches. And it's about right here, so I'm going to trim it right there. And I'm going to cut it about 2 inches. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 inches. It could be a little bit less because, of course, the bag is a little bit smaller on the inside than it would be on the outside. So now we're going to take this little patch. It could be stiffy felt, some cardboard, poster board, just anything that has a little bit of body to it. I would prefer to maybe use some little piece of cardboard because it would be stiffer, or even some foam board that you can cut from a scrap. Alright, so it occurred to me that in order to make this a little bit thicker, I'm going to go ahead and take that other little half that I cut from it and then just glue that onto it. And sandwich them together to create a little bit of a thicker bottom for my sack. There we go, just like that. And then we're just going to put glue on this and glue that to the bottom on the inside of my little sack. Now you're going to be really careful because there's glue on it. So you want to grab it and you want to slide it in, but slide it in against the bottom part like that. And then once you get it at the bottom, slide it over and then just push it up against here. Okay, so I'm just going to slide it in. Once I get to that very bottom corner, I can then slide it up and push it up against the bottom there, little wall. And make sure it's glued because remember I told you burlap, I don't know, for whatever reason, just doesn't. Oh, I never even glue this little corner, you guys, so I need to do that. Let me go ahead and do that now. There we go. Before that bottom gets glued down like really well. Okay, let me glue that little corner. I was wondering, why does that look different? Okay, so there we go. That's done. All right, so now we have our little bag. All right, I've gone ahead and I prepared the other 2 bags, and I'll show them to you after I'm done with this one. But after I've done that, it occurred to me that I could also add some little marbles or some little rocks at the bottom of my little bag, just to keep it from tilting over. It's going to be a very lightweight arrangement, so it could actually just tilt over very easily. But the good thing about it is that it's not going to break. So let's say somebody knocks it over, if you have it on a little table, or you give it to somebody and they put it on a little shelf somewhere, if it gets knocked over, it's not going to break. So that's the good thing about it. Okay, so now take into consideration that we're going to put some styrofoam in there first, and then you can put some little rocks in there. And something else occurred to me while doing the other 2 bags that I'm also going to show you. I'm going to glue down these little edges here really well, because I did not do that. There we go. We'll keep them from popping up like that and not looking pretty, but look at that. Now it looks nice. Okay, so now we're going to take a styrofoam, and I'm going to put it in there about as wide as the whole thing is. So using your scissors or your little craft knife, just trim it to size, just to fit in there. The thinnest side. I'm going to add some glue. About to run out here. Like so. Okay. And then we're going to slide that in there. Alright, now once it's in there, just like that, I'm just going to shake off any little bits of styrofoam that kind of shaved off as I was pushing it in. Because, you know, the styrofoam kind of breaks up very easily. Anyway, put that over to the side. What occurred to me with the other bags as well, like after putting the styrofoam in there, I could have put some little rocks in there. I don't have any, otherwise I would have done that. And then I could show you what I meant by that. Just pour some glue in there on the sides, and then drop some little marbles or some little balls to weigh it down. Once you've got the styrofoam in there, because you don't want rocks down here and then making it like not leveled, if you will. So the styrofoam will keep level bottom. That's why we want that little cardboard or that stiffy felt in there first. Okay, so also to make this look like a little poofy little sack, we're gonna take some of this polyfill and then just put some in there. You put that on the sides, but I want to push it down to the bottom because I want the bottom to be nice and poofy. You want to do it to both sides, on each side of the styrofoam. So just push that in there and push it all the way down to the bottom, because you want to make sure that you don't add so much over here, and then that makes it, you know, weigh that way more. So make sure you put some on this side, on the back. Of course, this could easily be a centerpiece, and I could have done another heart and the other word over on this side too. Okay. Let's push those in. These would be great for any party. If you're having a Valentine's celebration, a little dance at your church or something, or even just to take to someone. These are great little centerpieces. Even for a birthday, you can do a different theme. A farmhouse wedding, and I'll show you what I actually created. That would be for that. And let's just keep adding some of these in there. But these little sacks are really cute. You could use these little sacks to put like little letters in there, little Valentine's Day cards that maybe you're collecting from your friends. Or, you know, like the smaller one that I made would be great for kids to put their little Valentine's Day cards in there. Okay. Or for your teacher, so she can collect her cards in there as well. So here we have a nice little sack. Makes a nice little container to create our floral arrangement. So here I've got some leftover flowers that I'm going to put in there. I'm going to look for the one with the longest. I'm going to use these roses, and they'll pretty much have the same length stem, so just any one of them. And anytime you have a flower that has like a little droopy petal like that, and I talked about this when I was doing my garland, I put that, just put a little bit of glue and then just push that up, and that'll hold it in place so you don't have that little droopy petal. And if you want it tighter, obviously you can add some glue in there and tighten them all in, starting from the ones further inside, and then work your way, and you can actually create like a little bud instead of a rose, like an open rose, I mean. Okay, we're going to start by putting some flowers in there. I always like to do the center because that tells me what height, and then I can just put all the other flowers, you know, copying what I do on each side on the opposite side as well. Oh, look how pretty these flowers are. Of course, some red flowers would have been really pretty in here. And I did have some red roses, but I decided to do something different, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I really love pink, you guys. I love pinks and blues in floral arrangement. So that's why I chose this. And I know that this has red in it, but, you know, it almost has a look of pink to it. So I'm leaving it like that. Okay, so what I did is a flower here, a flower on this end, the flower on this end, one here, and then I'm just doing like opposites. So whatever I do here, now I'm going to do over here. And this is, actually this one can be here in the front. Let me get a longer one here for the side here. This one actually has to be pushed in a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then I kind of fold them, you know, bend the flowers down a little bit so they're not all like, you know, up here, but so you can see them from the sides as well, you know. You want to be able to see your flowers, okay? Just a little bit. That's a leftover one. I ended up with 7 flowers, which is an odd number, and I love to work with odd numbers. Let me turn this around so you can see it. I'm going to continue putting some little flowers in there wherever I feel like I need some. I'm using my wire cutters too. That's another tool you might want to pull out. And also some floral wire, I forgot to mention, if you're going to tie up a little bow. Okay, I'm going to continue putting little flowers in here. I will have other tutorials on how to actually put floral arrangements together, and I do already have some already made, so you might want to look at that. I did create a playlist, floral arrangements, so I have videos there where I've actually done a step-by-step on how to put this all together. Someone suggested I should do some playlists, and I know. I started a couple, but you know, time does just not allow me. And they kind of changed the uploader for the video, so it's the studio that they have on YouTube to put up your, you know, your, I wanted to say your pictures, your videos. So kind of have to be learning, like, okay, where's this little feature, where's that feature. So it's kind of hard to, like, you know, navigate and do things right away when you have to learn things. Okay, so I'm just adding some little filler flowers here and there. And I'm going to add some of these little, these are so pretty. I love these. These flowers, everything that you see me here using right now, these are all from the Dollar Tree. And they're really pretty. And really, it all just depends on how you use your flowers. I mean, don't knock them, because you could actually get a really pretty arrangement from these Dollar Tree stems. And look, what I'm doing is I'm keeping it really short and really full and put together, because I want this to be a centerpiece that could actually go at a table where people can sit around. So I don't want it too tall that when you're sitting there you can't see the person across you, because this is covering. It needs to be small enough where it's comfortable, where, you know, wherever you're sitting, you can look at each other's pretty faces. Okay, so I've got some greenery, and I'm just going to remove some of the bottom leaves, because they're not even going to be showing. And I could save those little leaves for making some small little boutonnieres or corsages. I'm just going to bend this out a little bit. I want one coming up here. Come on, honey, get in there. The stem is barely long enough to reach the styrofoam in there. I was wanting to do something different, something that I haven't seen anybody do. So it took me a while. I was going to do a wreath, but you know, everybody does wreaths, even though I still may do one. Anyway, so I'd also been thinking about ideas for farmhouse weddings, and I thought about doing little arrangements like this, and I thought, why wouldn't that be great for Valentine's? And I had bought that little sign, and I thought the little heart would be perfect to remove and put on my little sack. Look at that, everybody. Look how pretty that looks. Now, we could put a little bow on it, and I already have this little, I had this little pick with this little heart on it, and then I just tied a little bow on it. And it's super simple to just add something like that. Let me add it to the front, towards the front here. And then that just tells everybody, again, that it's Valentine's, and it makes it a little special with a little heart in there. But you could do your bow separately. Let me go ahead and make a little bow just to give you an idea. I'm going to cut about 6 or 8 inches of wire, and I'm just going to take my, excuse me. I don't know if I'm sick or if I think it's just allergies, you guys. I haven't had any fevers or anything like that. So it's like, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to choose 6 inches right here. And that's going to be my little tail, twisted. And my ribbon has both sides are the same, but if it only had one pretty side up, then I would make sure that that's always up. So that's why I do twist my ribbon to always make sure the pretty side is up. Pinch and twist. Make your loop, pinch it, and twist. And I'm going to make 4 loops just for now. And then cut another about 6 inches of this. Take my wire or a little chenille stem, pipe cleaner, wrap it around and tie it. I'm going to fold these. So from the fold in the center towards the edges, cut so that you have this little dovetail. And I've already explained this. I also have a playlist where I put together bow making, so you can look that up as well. Go to my channel. How do you go to my channel? You can hit my little icon that says Tricia Texas Lady, and that'll take you to my channel. Okay, so now I have a little bow that I could also place in there. So I can get this here, and let's say I cut off, well, I did cut off some stems off some things, but let me grab this stem. Any little leftover pieces of stems like that, or if you have wooden floral sticks. Oh my gosh, my nails look terrible. Okay, so we're going to take the wire and we're going to wrap it around nice and tight at one of the ends here. Or you could use a little piece of dowel stick, little wooden stick, even a popsicle stick. And we'll put some glue there just to keep it from sliding up or down. And now we have a stick where we can take this, and let me go over to the other side here and tuck it in there. Just make sure I'm putting it into the styrofoam. There we go. Push it in just so where it's right on the edge of our little sack, or, you know, if you're doing it on a little vase or something. But for this particular project, it is a little sack. I'm going to leave this in there because I think it looks really cute. The little heart kind of popping out through the flowers. Look at that, you guys. All right. Let me show you something else that I did. Let me just clear some things up here, and I will be right back. Okay, so I said I had some roses and I used them for another one. So here's what I did with that 8 by 8 sack that I cut out. I actually put a little handle on it, and then I just put some red roses, a little bit of greenery in there, a little white bow. And as you can see, I trimmed it with some lace here, some little trimming that I had. And let me show you how I make this little handle. Okay, so let me put this over to the side here. So you take a strip. This is about 2.5 inches. Let me see. Yeah, it's about 2.5 inches wide. I think it's better if I move this out of the way this way. Okay, so to make that, it's really very easy, is you just put a little bit of glue on one edge here, and you're going to do it a little bit at a time as you work your way up. I'm just going to start this bottom part just to get it started, and then just kind of bring it over to the center and push it down. Okay, so now that we've got this really nice finished folded edge, we're going to do the same to the other side, and we're going to glue it down the same way, meeting right here in the center. So we have this really nice, it's like about 1.25 inches once I've got it all folded up. So I want to put the glue on the edge here. Okay, and then fold that down so that it stays in place. You want to work it all the way to whatever length you need, okay? So look how pretty that is. And I have a little scrap here that I cut off. And then I just glued this little lace or trim right where it meets up here. And you see that little seam there? That's where you're going to cover it with some lace. If you don't use any lace at all, then this can be the top of your handle. Otherwise, if you cover this completely, then you're going to have a nice edge or backing at the back. You're not going to have any seam there. You're not going to see it. It's going to be nice and really nicely finished. Look at this. It looks so pretty. And look at the inside. Okay? Isn't that just the cutest thing ever? So I've been putting this up and it kind of falls over on me. So that's why I thought it would be nice to have put some little pebbles or something in there to keep it from falling over. But wouldn't this be cute for a little girl, maybe at a wedding, little flower girls, if they're going to hold something in their hand and maybe put the petals inside of the little basket, and they could just be, you know, throwing them out instead of having flowers in there. Wouldn't that be cute? Oh my gosh, I'm so like just, you know, excited about this. I'm sick, but I'm excited. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have one more because remember I did a 10 by 12. And let me show you what I've been doing with that one. Here we go. Look at that. And this one, I did it the same way. Put a piece of styrofoam, you know, the little felt at the bottom, which I should have doubled at the time. Put the styrofoam in there, maybe some little rocks or marbles, and then I filled it up with lots of batting to make it really full, like a little bag. And then I put these floral stems, but I kind of put them right just at the middle of my styrofoam. See, I didn't put any like over here on the edges or anything. I just concentrated right here in the middle, and I haven't put any greenery in there or anything yet, because when I bring this up and I tied it, what I did is I put a little bit of glue back here. I attached a little rope right here, and then I made some little pleats over here, put a little glue, attached the rope there, and then I brought it over to the front. Let me undo it just so you can see. It was like this, and then I just brought it over to the front and then just tied it, but I didn't want to tighten it like really tight. I wanted to leave a nice opening so that it would all look really nice, and then just make a bow. If you want to make a knot, make a knot. I did knot the little ends here of the little rope here, the hamstring, just to give it a nice little finished edge. And look at the cute little buttons that I added on there. I did it on the other side as well. So I left it a little bit open, but I want this to flare open. So I haven't finished this arrangement, so I want to put some greenery in there, so that kind of helps to push out the top of my sack, so you can see that, you know, that cinched look about it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me move the camera up just a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm going to take some of these greenery pieces that I have here, and I'm going to cut off the bottom bits because I won't need them. I think I may even have to cut up to this one. And you guys, I save all these. We might do something cute with those little leaves. Maybe cover something. Okay, let's take the... I was just holding it against it to see where... I know the styrofoam's about right here. So I needed to go into the styrofoam, and look, it's right on the edge here. So the leaves that were here were basically going to be in the way. So I'm going to bend this like that and kind of outward. And then just reach in there and push it into the styrofoam. And push it down enough so that it pushes the top of the sack, you know, open like that. And then do the same to the other side. Like that. And that keeps it open. And now, here in the middle, I can add some more. And I already had these that were already, you know, they were from another arrangement, and I just borrowed them to do this. Guys, I was saving money because I'm doing so many, you know, it costs money to do these little videos. So let me push this little stamp through here. There we go. Anyway, you know, it takes not only time, but, you know, money to create these videos. So I have to recycle a lot of things. My goodness. So you might see me doing, oh my goodness, when are you going to stop doing things in pink? As soon as I can go ahead and go buy stuff. I haven't been able to really like leave my house, guys. Every time I go outside, really, I come back and I'm sicker. So like I said, that's why I think it's allergies. Okay, so I'm putting some of that in there. I'm going to put some more greenery kind of at the front and the back also to open up the flower, I mean not the flower, the sack up a little bit. Let me trim this a little bit. I don't need to be that long. Okay, here in the front. And I'm mainly folding these branches because that way you see the top of them, okay? So I'm going to curl that out. And so, okay, let me put one more towards the back. So we have the same look in the back, and this creates a really pretty centerpiece. Okay, I am going to go shopping tomorrow. I decided that, okay, you guys, I'm not getting any better. Every time I go outside, I get sick anyway. So I'm going to go looking for some florals to do a farmhouse wedding series. So what do you think of that? But look, that's what made me think of this. I think this would be perfect for a situation or an occasion like that. This is even pretty for Mother's Day. It's just so pretty for spring, really. Or, you know, baby showers. is so cute. Do them with pink flowers for a girl, whatever colors you want. I love this combination of the blue and the yellow. That is so pretty. And of course I love pinks. I love the paler pinks, but this is what I've got for Valentine's. And look at this one. Oh, how pretty. All right, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this. All right, everyone. Like I said, I really enjoyed doing this tutorial. I think it's a cute and very creative little craft to do, to put it together. And like I said, it can go for any occasion besides Valentine's Day. I really enjoy this for a wedding, so I think I'm going to repeat this for a series that I will do on farmhouse wedding theme. I'm not going to do like lots of things. I'm just going to do a few little things that I'm able to do. I am going to ask you this, and I probably would not care to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and ask this, that you view my video in its entirety. It is very important. Also, if any ads, I think they're at the beginning of my videos. I'm not sure if there's any in between, but if there's any ads, please watch them through. I know it's kind of annoying to watch ads if you're not getting them. Well, you're not, but if you do, it's really important to all of us who create videos for YouTube, that you do video them, because that you do view them, because that is how we get paid through YouTube. Now, when I first started doing my videos, I wasn't doing this for any kind of compensation. I just enjoy doing my videos, but to continue doing it, to be able to afford to keep doing these projects for you, I need to be able to get a little bit of something from YouTube. So anything that I get from there is actually just turned around to purchase supplies for me to continue doing crafts for you, especially when you request something that I really have no need for, but I want to do it for you. It gives me pleasure to do that. It gives me something to do in life, actually. So just wanted to say, please just muddle through them. It'll be a little break from listening to me talking so much. Instead, just kind of give your mind a little rest while the ad goes on. Anyhow, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a nice comment down below and let me know what you think of this craft. Will you be recreating it? What are your ideas for using this little sack? All right, everyone, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and thank you. Thank you so very much to everybody who has been subscribing. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you have found me and that you're viewing my videos. And share on your social medias. And as always, enjoy.